Never in my entire life would I think that I would be selling 200 items every day, going from working at a restaurant for 15 years to now owning my small business. And in this video, we're gonna be going over some of the daily activities that we do in our business to be able to process 200 items a day and then ship 200 items a day. I'm also gonna be sharing towards the end of this video, you're gonna wanna stick around for it. It's going to be 5 tips that got us from really selling 0 to 5 items a day to where we are now selling about 200 items per day. I'm gonna be walking through some of the processes that we do in our business, from the shipping to the receiving to the processing, just to help you grow your business if this is something that you're going to want to do in the long run. So our business has shifted up and down. Never did I think that I'd be owning a 20 by 40 warehouse, reselling pre-owned and new clothing on the internet. So let's walk you through some of the setups here in the shop and kind of how we process and go about things. So just recently we ran a show of all Lululemon here. It's about 120 pieces of Lululemon we ran on Saturday. That was a really fun show. It was around 2,000 in sales. Now we're working on getting this shipped out this morning so everyone can get their items in a timely manner. Here, this all came in from our camping trip. We order these about every 2 weeks, about 250 of the large boxes, about 250 of the shoe boxes. So those come in, those need to be put away. And then this is what we've processed so far. Here's kind of the receiving department. Everything comes in through this bay door. Whether it's a pallet, UPS, or USPS. We have USPS do local pickup, which we're very thankful for that, living in a rural area. So what we got here is we got in this area, try to do my best to organize it so you can see clearly, but this is all wholesale. So we buy a lot of wholesale from several vendors all across the nation. And this all needs to be processed. So this all came in last week. This is going to get processed. Here is our consignment program. We've been doing a lot more consignment. We got 200 shoes. We got some plus size items. We got more consignment here. We've actually been doing a lot more consignment because people are able to move the product much quicker versus like filling out a spreadsheet. But yeah, this is all consignment. Are you a reseller that loves to go sourcing and loves to shop? Well, right now we are hiring in our wholesale team of over 31 members. We provide you with a brand list of over 300 brands, and we are buying all the brands on that list. It's a great opportunity to double your money. And right now we're helping people pay off their kids' student loans. You could check out right here. This lady's been on the team and we've been able to help her make some extra money. So if this sounds something interesting to you and you love to go shopping and you love to source, book a call, click a link down below, and we'd love to see if we can be a good fit. And we're also mixing in some of these new boots into our shows as well. That's been nice, selling these new boots. We had 4 pallets, now we're down to 2. We got everything put up on shelves, organized by size. So that's really been helpful if you're dealing with over 1,000 boots. They're all leather. This is basically our rack we pull out of. You know, like simple boots, like Free People leather boots. These are all selling for about $20 plus shipping. So we're just running all these leather boots. So as we run down in the sizes, we then pull from the back racks that have been organized, put them up on the shelf, make sure these racks are full before we go live. That's how we've been doing our shoe show. We do it about 2 to 4 times per week. And then we have an Etika denim show where all of this is like organic cotton, tencel, denim jeans, jumpsuits, jackets. That is 1 pallet that's over there, still needs to be broken down. But this is what we're selling. We're selling some Etika, new tags, just kind of trying it out. It's been going really well so far. So that's been good. Etika is sold on the Revolve site. Their jeans retail for $150, $250. This is kind of the processing for the Etika denim. So we take out the boxes, take them out of the boxes and organize by size. Everything's done by size. Just to make sure we can replenish our rolling rack for our shows. Just want to walk you through the process here. We've been starting up eBay again. It's been going really well, just something that we're experimenting with. So this is our eBay kind of area where we take photos and process. But I will say that nothing beats the fast money when it comes to live selling. And we're doing a test of listing every day on eBay for about 2 months and seeing how much time it took us and how much money it made us. And if it's significantly less per hour than doing our live selling shows, we're just going to incorporate another show and then run every single thing on Whatnot. Because as a business owner, you really need to make sure you figure out how much money you're making per hour. I feel like in entrepreneurship, or just in small business in general, you're not calculating how much money you're making per hour, then how do you even know it's worth doing, right? So that's really important to figure out, and it took me years to figure that out as well. So that's the quick setup of what we're selling. We are going to be getting ready in about 1 hour of running a reseller show. So reseller shows consist of Patagonia, North Face, Carhartt, Lululemon, and that's what we got here in this stack here. We're going to run that in about an hour. After that, in about 3 hours, we're going to run these, it's about 120, 150 denim jeans, Hudson, Joe's jeans, Page jeans, Good American jeans, 7 for All Mankind jeans. We're going to run all those on Whatnot as well. That's going to be the next show after that. And then after that, we're going to run a boot show. And then after that, we're going to run an Etika denim show. Tomorrow on deck, we got some Badgley Mishka dresses. I think there's about 70 of them here. We're just getting them all organized, ready for the show. A lot of these dresses retail for $500 to up to $1,500 per dress. So that's the update. I wanted to give you a quick little look around of what the business is doing, how we are progressing, and you know, there's nothing special that I did other than double down on what's working. And that's what I'm going to explain a little bit later in this video of like what got us here. What were the steps that we took that I could think of that were really foundational in moving the ball forward, because we were eBay resellers for about 4 years and it's changed our life. But now doing live selling over the last 8 months, it's really transformed our life. We went from doing $15,000 to $20,000 to $25,000 in sales on eBay every month to now doing upwards of double that. So what does $50,000 a month in sales look like? This is what it looks like, guys. It looks like a lot of processing. Processing. Like the orders come in, they get processed. And that's what we are currently doing. I would say the next step is this week, we now are doing interviews. So what we're looking for is basically someone to replace me eventually, because you don't really have a business until you can work out of the business rather than in the business, right? So once you could build it out and have someone replace you and you could start working on your next business, that's gonna be the next step for us. You know, working in your business is great and it gets you to a point, but then you want to start to do maybe other business ideas. You want to take a vacation, you want to go camping. Well, if the business can't make money without you, it's really hard, right? It's really hard to find time to do the things that you want to do. So this is our shipping station. We ship out about 200-300 items every day out of this simple setup. It's just a simple laptop, labels, we got all our boxes we need. Really, really simple, guys. Don't overthink the shipping station. Really simple, keep it easy. That allows us to ship everything out. And people have asked how we ship out our Whatnot orders. We just do the number system with the flat rate shipping now. It's so much easier. We're gonna eventually move to like the cubby system where every cubby has a number, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You know, like Rinzy or Daily Refinement, Circle City, they do, a lot of the big volume sellers do the same thing. But for now, this is what we got, 1 through whatever. So we just write the number. When the item sells, it gets the corresponding number on the screen, and then we move on. So usually do 1 pound flat rate or 1 to 2 pound flat rate shipping. So it really ends up working out. But yeah, that's about the update. Really just learning how to move product consistently, efficiently, and the best that we can, because it's all a process, guys. 10 months ago, we had no idea on how to actually systematically ship 250 items out. Like that would have been taking us all day. Now we have a system for it to be able to continue to grow the business. So let's get into those 5 tips that I can guarantee that at least one of them is going to help you grow your business in 2025. Let's get into it. Okay, now I want to talk about what got us from point A to where we are today. And I want to deep dive some of the sales breakdown, where we're at now, what we're on pace to accomplish, to give you some good insight on how you can apply some of these principles into your business. So I just want to start off on giving a quick overview of our last 2 weeks live selling on the platform Whatnot. We're generally doing between 3 and 4 shows per day, and taking Sunday off. We hit about $29,000 in sales over the last 2 weeks on Whatnot live selling. This has been amazing, absolute blessing on where we used to be in our business and where we are now. But to do nearly $30,000 in sales on Whatnot in 2 weeks is a beautiful place to be. We are hiring out team members onto our platform. We are hiring a shipper here in the next month, and we are going to look to bring on another live seller onto our platform locally. So this is a blessing. Like I said earlier in the video, we were doing about $25,000 in sales at like our peak when we were reselling on eBay. Great profit margins, selling between 25 items a day. That was great. The complete unlock for me, though, has been really looking to make some of the money all the time. And that's like lower profit margin, but higher volume. And now we're selling between 200-300 items a day, sometimes more, depends on how many shows we do. But now we're looking at like, selling 200-300 items a day, decreased margin, but we have increased the volume. So we are actually, not only making more money, but also the business is growing to now where we can actually hire someone. With eBay, we never really got to the point where we were able to, hire someone full time. Now we're to the point where we need to hire a shipper if we're going to take the next step into our business. So I wanted to give you that brief overview of the sales, 29,000 in sales over the last 2 weeks. Things have been going really well. Now I want to break down kind of what got us there. How did we get there? What were the steps that we took? Because we've been doing this for over 4 years now, and my wife and I as a small business. And I just want to share with you kind of some of the things we've learned, because it wasn't up until recently, up until about 8-9 months ago, where things really started to take off. On average, we were doing between 160 to 180,000 in sales our first 3 months selling on eBay, Poshmark, and things like that. And now we are looking to do about $600 to about $750,000 in sales this year. That's our trajectory. Of course, we'd like to hit $1 million, but we're still kind of refining processes as we've only been doing this for about 8 months, live selling. So that's kind of the pace. That's kind of the blueprint. Now let's walk you through the steps on the things that really impacted me during this journey and during this process. So the fact is that when entrepreneurs think that they start a business, they think that it's just going to be a straight path forward. It's going to be easy. Watch a few YouTube videos, take a course, you're good to go. That's never the case. Hate to break it to you, but you will make mistakes, and you got to fail forward and learn from those mistakes. So 4 years of improving processes and systems that work in your favor that will buy back your time. So for us in our business, it's going to be hiring a shipper so we could buy back our time to focus on more income producing activities. So this takes years of trial and error on what works best for effective management and time and resources. Things like creating a schedule, setting a plan, setting goals, daily goals. Really look at your overall goal from a year's point of view, and then break it down into smaller day-by-day tasks that you need to accomplish to hit the bigger goal, aka reverse engineering. You want to be able to break down your big goal for the year and put that into like bite-sized tasks for the day. Like, I need to do 4 Whatnot shows a day. I need to sell 100 items in each show at $4 profit per item, and then you calculate that, extrapolate it over a week, over a year, and you get to see, okay, these are the things I need to do every day to hit my bigger goal. And that's what really made it click for me, moving through a lot of the failures and things like that. So we have made many mistakes in our businesses, from bad purchases to buying equipment we did not need and not tracking numbers properly. I highly recommend, getting like some type of spreadsheet, some type of workbook right away, so you can start tracking your numbers, so you know how much money you're making per hour. This is very important because you're going to be spending 8 hours a day, every day in your resale business. And if you don't know how much you're making an hour, and you come to find out you're only making $7 an hour, it might just be easier for you to just go work at a job and get paid more. Less stress, that's for sure. But hey, season of sacrifice, we all have our different vision in this. When we all start something, we're all going to be making pretty low hourly wage until we start to learn and scale up our knowledge and our processes. So the first year for us was all error correction and building for optimization and focusing on what brings in the most amount of money and then cutting out the rest. So for us, it was like the eBay journey, figuring out what thrift routes, what ways to source, how to source is going to be the best return on our investment. So we started posting Facebook ads, started, cold calling people, cold calling thrift stores, and just figuring out what's the best way to get inventory. This was back in early 2021. March of 2021. So the main takeaway here is never think that you're not going to make a mistake. This was my kind of me being prideful when I first started. I wanted to do everything perfect. I knew that if I just followed what everyone else was doing, I wouldn't make mistakes. That is not the case. You're going to make bad purchases. You're going to make bad listings. And then once you start correcting these errors, you're just going to become a better reseller and a better business owner overall. You really need to learn from these mistakes early on. Otherwise, these things can put you out of business over time. Always have an open mind as you keep growing your business. So number 2 is it's not a straight path upwards. So the growth from 178K in sales our first year to now projected of about 700,000 in sales in 2025 was not a straight path upward. We learned that we needed to learn the basics and the principles of management. So things like setting a schedule, things like planning out your day. How does your day look like to be able to do $700,000 in sales every day? And it really clicked for us is once we started to do more leverage, put more leverage in our business. And I'll talk about this later on, but it's not being done alone. It's my wife and I, the USPS guy, the UPS guy, but then over 50, 60, 70 people that we have hired sourcing in our team. So it definitely cannot do this alone. We've had to hire out the sourcing process. I have not gone sourcing but once in the last 8 months because now we've been able to pay people to source for our business and working with other liquidators and other vendors as well. So it's not a straight path upwards. You start with the thrift stores. You start with getting to know the managers. You start with making friends that are other resellers that maybe can help you get product as well. Maybe they don't sell those type of items, but they'll source for you. So that was definitely a long up and down. We'd have 2 steps forward, 2 steps back, 2 steps forward, 3 steps back. It's up and down, up and down. Our biggest change came within our second year of reselling when I started putting Facebook ads out there in free buy and sell and trade groups. A manager hit us up. They had a storage unit. Once we bought that storage unit, it really changed the trajectory of our business because we were able to put that big purchase profits back into our business to continue to grow it. So that was a huge shift, and that was a huge learning lesson that I wish I had done that earlier. So the next thing is learning that money is attracted to the effective management of resources. That is essentially what reselling is, management of resources. So in this country, praise God that we live in this country, if you live in the great old US of A, that there's a huge waste. Junk removal companies that are successful can do over hundreds of millions of dollars in revenue in a year. Junk removal companies. Storage units are like the fastest growing property being purchased right now in America, storage units. Because why? People got a lot of junk to store away. So as a reseller, it is a great time to be alive to take advantage of a lot of these things that are ending up in the landfill. They're ending up in the trash. So you can generate a business. I mean, there's, like I said, junk removal service companies that are making tons of money picking up people's so-called garbage, right? So that's a thing here is like the principle of management. Money is attracted to that. Success is attracted to that. It's not about your resources, but your resourcefulness. And once I learned that, we started to stop buying. We don't need the new camera. We don't need the new lights. We don't need the new of everything to get our business going. We've just rocked with what we had. Keep it simple. Don't overspend and manage your money wisely. And a simple tip that I can recommend: check your bank account every day. So checking your bank account, what's going in, what's going out, is a huge way to be able to track some of the unneeded spending in your business. Definitely get a personal and a business account so you could separate the two. You really need to be able to do that as part of a manage key principle for your success. Learning about how much money you're spending in your resale business every week and how much is going into your bank account every week. For me and my personal philosophy for my business, and I don't want to spend more than 50% of what's going into my bank account every week. So if I'm spending $5,000 a week, that means I have a cashed out $10,000 at that week. So if I have a $5,000 spending limit. So that's how I like to get it, so I don't overspend in my business, because big bulk purchases do come up. So I need to account for that as well, because maybe I'm going to spend $40,000 on a couple pallets this week. I need to account for that properly as well. So that's a huge thing, y'all. Management. How much do you know about it? How much are you applying it? Management of resources, money's going to be attracted to that. So make sure you're managing everything you have in your business. And yes, I'm talking about the dreaded death pile, the extra stuff that you haven't gotten listed. That is a huge key to getting money and cash flow going through your business. So I have been guilty of that as well. So everyone has been guilty of that. It's just about managing those resources properly and efficiently, and that just takes time. So and that's why I say in my next one, this is learned over time. There's going to be ups and downs. So when we first started, we had bigger death piles back then because we didn't know, how to scale, how to list 50 items a day. It just took a lot of management and processing. So learning that over time, it's going to help you be more successful. In the last 7 months, our clothing resale business went from about $15K monthly recurring revenue to $58K monthly recurring revenue right now. The first 4 years prepared us for the massive growth. Yes. So if we were to do, 750,000 in sales our first year, there'd be a lot more mistakes from learning all the lessons on what comes with selling that many items per day. So that was a huge thing, that the first 4 years of our resale business set us up for what we're doing now. Is it perfect? Absolutely not, but we're trying to get it as good as we can be, especially when we're looking to hire in a helper. We're hiring a shipper processor position as our first official hire here in our business. And it's going to take about a month, maybe more, to find the right person that wants to do it, because we live real rural. But I want to make sure all the systems and processes in our business right now are easy to understand, really simple, really plain, so there's no mistakes. We had to refine our shipping process, everything about how that all looks. Then we bring in the person. We don't want to have confusing processes. And then if we don't understand how things work, how can we train someone else to do that, right? It's really important that you understand every aspect of your business before you hire someone. You want to have standard operating procedures for every task, so they know that what is the task, how should it be done, and to complete the goal. If you don't know how to do the task or what entails to complete the task, it's going to be very difficult for you to train a person properly. So we're trying to do this to minimize mistakes. So those first 4 years prepared us for where we're at now. A lot of mistakes, a lot of ups and downs, whether through bad purchases, working with people that didn't see the vision, maybe hiring a VA too early, things like that. So number 3 is we implemented what the top 10% of resale businesses that were what they did, and avoided what the bottom 90% that what they were doing. So top 10% of businesses, people that are doing over $1 million, $2 million, $5 million, $10 million annual recurring revenue. And this was all about thinking in new ways about old problems. And I've said this time and time again, I believe the biggest problem when it comes to reselling on your path to 6 figures is access to consistent quality inventory. Your resale business is a reflection of the inventory that you bring in. So it's only going to be as good as the inventory that you source. So this is why we've really been able to focus on live selling and bringing in product that people actually want to buy. So that's what our main focus is: the Lululemon, the Patagonia, the Carhartt, the North Face, things like that, and really sticking to those brands and consistently bringing them in. So that way we could be able to provide predictability for the people that join our shows. They know that they're going to see those types of brands, and we want to be able to bring in consistent quality inventory. We don't want to be mixing it up too much in the variety, though it is good to experiment. But your resale business is going to be a direct reflection of the products you are buying and reselling. So you probably want to take a good 30,000-foot view of your business and look at what are the types of products I'm buying, and does anyone want to buy this? So it's why it's very important to check the sell-through rate if you're an eBay reseller to see if there's any demand of that item. So the top 10% is really focused on bringing product that speaks for itself, product that sells itself. And that's what you really need to stick with when you're starting your resale business. Otherwise, you will be out of business if you start picking up random garbage that no one wants. So running Facebook and Instagram and TikTok ads for outbound marketing to establish a nationwide sourcing team was the key in the growth over the last 7 months. We have worked with over hundreds of people throughout the country. So they go to this landing page here, getpaidtosource.com, and they will have a video sales letter, which is basically me just on Loom making a quick video of detailing what the program entails, and just make it really simple. We are building this out a little bit more. It's going to make it a lot easier for people to send us inventory and product and work with our consignment side of the business. So this is where the ads point to. So I create a quick Facebook ad. I put about $10 to up to $50 a day of ad spend towards that ad, and we just blast it out on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. And I've lost track, but we've had many people come and support our business, whether through one-off transactions, reoccurring business, or they just want to consign stuff with us. You can see here we got a lot of good testimonials down below, and we really enjoy working with other people that are purpose-driven and have a similar vision as well. So we've been able to work with tons of people. I think we've collected about 2,200 emails since running these ads to help people if they want to start wholesaling. So this has been transformational in our business, running a landing page just like this and having an ad pointed to it. The ad is very simple. You've seen it. It's just getting people to want to wholesale to us. That's it. If you don't ask, you probably won't receive, right? So ask and you shall receive. You'll have a greater chance of getting the things that you want. So that's a huge thing. Guys, if you have problems with getting inventory, ask. Make a Facebook post. Go into Facebook groups. Go on Instagram. Start sending a message to Bobby23. Hey, I saw you found some great stuff at the thrift store. I'd be willing to pay you to find these items at a thrift store. Give it a shot, guys. So it wasn't until we ran those ads, things changed. If I did not run the ads, we wouldn't even be selling on Whatnot right now at all. So learning the intricate parts of marketing, inbound, outbound marketing was the key. So that's how we've been able to work with hundreds of people throughout the country, also through organic impressions through YouTube and Instagram and posts like that. But I think paying for the ads really got the impressions out there, so we were able to get more views. So developing long-term partnerships with vendors who work with Lululemon, Patagonia, North Face, Judy Blue. This only came from doing outbound marketing through running targeted ad campaigns. So yeah, we've been able to work with people directly associated with these brands, and our whole goal is to eventually come into partnership with these bigger brands so we can continue to scale this business. So that was key as well. And you're probably wondering, how do you do that? You message them, you email them, cold email, get the information for director of operations or director of marketing, and work your way up. And a quick hack on how to do that is go to LinkedIn. You guys remember LinkedIn? LinkedIn.com. That's where all these executives hang out. They have sometimes their personal direct line to call them on their LinkedIn profile. So that's what I would suggest doing, and that would be probably the best way to secure yourself as a reseller, is working directly with the brand. So that was a great, huge shift for our business. Those two things, running Facebook ads and developing long-term relationships with other partners, was key. So cold direct message and cold email to grow our sourcing team and whatnot following. So we were paying a VA to cold direct message on Whatnot and Instagram and Facebook to see if they wanted to join our team. That was a key thing. If there's a great quote, Dan Martell says this about assistants. If you do not have an assistant, a virtual assistant, then you are the assistant. So of course you want to make sure you can afford an assistant. So we have two in the Philippines that we pay $5 an hour. $5 an hour in the Philippines is like what doctors make. So in the Philippines. So if you can hire a VA and do some standard operating procedures on Loom and give them some quick details on how to do tasks, you're going to be able to buy back your time like crazy. And that's what we're currently doing right now with the cold direct message, cold email, responding to people. Because we do get tons of messages about our program and everything. It's all just going to be directed to our VA so they can handle all these questions, and it frees up a lot of my time. Once you start doing more of these tasks and it gets so demanding to responding to all the messages, you really got to figure out who am I going to hire for a virtual assistant, because that's the only way I could take the next step in my business. So organic reach through YouTube and Instagram, this brought in a ton of inbound. So inbound leads that were free. So through YouTube, you've seen it. You're watching it right now. We've run ads on YouTube where we can get people to, make a little bit of extra money. Not everyone wants to buy stuff to resell on eBay. Some people just want to buy stuff and sell it quick and make quick $2, $4 an item. I mean, if you're getting 100 items a day, that's $400 a day. It's not terrible. Not terrible if you like to go shopping and go sourcing. So that brought in a lot of inbound was through YouTube and Instagram, just being vocal about it. So weekly onboarding calls with 50 to 75 people who are interested in joining our wholesale sourcing team, consignment, and whatnot team. This grew from just 5 to 10 people per week to 7 months later, we're hosting about 50 to 75 people per week on our weekend onboarding calls. We used to do just weekly individual calls, which just took up too much of my time. So now we just do weekend onboarding calls where we get generally on average 50 people. It's usually 25 signups per onboarding call. And they come in and they learn a little bit about the program. And the people that want to do business with us take the next step. They fill out the spreadsheet and they start selling us product. So onboarding calls was key. Weekly onboarding calls to free up a lot of my time. And this is just all things that we've taken from other top 10% businesses and how they run their systems, how they run their processes. What does it look like to take the next step from going from $100,000 a year as a reseller to $1 million a year? And yes, you can do it alone, but it is far easier when you work with a team and you start hiring people out to do a lot of these systems and processes. If I were doing it all alone, I would never sleep. It would just be too many tasks in a day for me to do 4 Whatnot shows a day, ship out 250 items, do a YouTube video and onboarding calls and all this. So it was really important to learn about what were the other people doing that do $10 million, $50 million, $100 million in sales every year, to apply just a little bit of what they're doing. And I would say most of what we learned through that process was we really need to learn about Facebook ads. And maybe you do too. It's not for everyone, but I feel like to grow a business, learning how to advertise and market what you want and what you're looking for is a key. It's a kingdom key. And it took us 4 years to learn. So focusing on what brought in the most money and doubled down. We made the switch from static selling on eBay, 15,000 monthly recurring revenue, to about 60,000 monthly recurring revenue. We saw the potential just after our first live show where we made $60 in 1 hour. We saw that the money I was making per hour versus eBay and live selling were drastically different. So just over the last week, we've been running Lululemon shows for a while, but never in my life have I ever made $1,248 in an hour selling anything. So when you break it all down, you got to look at, well, what's making me the most money per hour net? And maybe I should focus on those things, because if I'm going to be doing eBay and that makes me $17 an hour, when I could take that same hour and just live sell and have the potential to make over $1,000 an hour, what are you going to choose at the end of the day? Okay, I think we know. So that's why I'm focusing more on, really, do you know how much do you make per hour? I ask you right now, do you know in your resale business how much do you make per hour? You got to figure that out, and then double down on what is making you the most money. Focusing on what brings in the most money is the key to any business. Hire out the lower income producing tasks and focus on the highest money making activities is the unlock. Paying for Facebook ads to drive traffic, whether through getting people on our wholesale team or having people follow us on Whatnot, this was well worth the $300 a month in ad spend. We also spend paid ads on getting people to follow us on Whatnot as well. It's worth it because we use the sign up link to get the kickback on the $5. So if people do sign up, it ends up paying for at least half of the ad spend every month, which is nice. Selling only the best that we could access. We have narrowed down our brands list to about 250 quality brands that we have sold over and over again, and it's what our audience is familiar with, and we cut out the rest. Yeah, so we started really broad with a huge list. It's still a big list, but now we've narrowed it down 250 brands of we know that this sells. So, and it's still a refining process. Cannot do this alone. I figured I needed to team up with like-minded individuals that also wanted to grow. If you look up the business principle network effects, that will explain kind of what's happening. As our business grows, we need to work with other people that want to grow their business so we can all grow together. To scale beyond the six-figure annual recurring revenue, I needed a team, and I needed to learn the art of communication and management. So reading books, learning about how their businesses operate was the key, and that's really it, y'all. Like, running a resale business and to get to the next level, you just can't do it alone. Like, I'm sorry to say, like, you're going to do the 100 listings by yourself. You're going to source the 100 items by yourself. You're going to take the 100 photos by yourself. I think to get the next step beyond $1 million a year is really going to take help. You know, whether you hire your grandma to do your photos or whatever, Uncle Bob's not doing nothing, hire him to clean the shoes. You got to figure out who is in my network that I can work with to hire to take the next step. We are in that position right now when it comes to actually having someone in a physical location helping us. So for the pre-owned clothing market, I believe, in my opinion, to take the next step from 6 figures revenue per year to beyond 8 figures, I needed to focus on volume selling. This is where Whatnot fits in our workflow. And it's not for everybody, y'all. You hear, it's not for everyone. And I'm not going to turn this into a live selling channel. I'm going to turn it into a business channel where you can learn about business, how we're growing ours, so you can apply it to your business as well. So Whatnot for us fits our current lifestyle, fits our current model. We have many people that we are responsible towards, where they're sourcing product every week. We need to pay them and pay them accordingly and keep that moving, because now people depend on us, and I depend on those people. So we have a great family team-like community with the business that we've built. So, and it's done with people and working with other people. So volume selling fits our business model. It's not for everybody. Of course, you're going to get the most money on eBay if you're a reseller, but I like selling 100 items in a show and making $4 profit, and I did that in an hour. $4 profit per item. So, but it's not for everybody. And then the last thing, which was the one that really impacted me the most, was just never stop learning. I think once you get into business and you feel like you know it all, or you think you know it all, or you found the hack or the secret, that's when you start to be set in your traditions and your ways. And the world is changing at a rapid rate. So I knew that we needed to change how our business ran, or I'm going to go working for someone that knows how to run a business, and I want to run my own. So I needed to figure out and adapt challenge myself, work harder on myself than I did at my job, and really start to become a better person so I could become a better reseller. You're going to find that those two go hand in hand. Once you become a better person, you're going to become a better reseller. You're going to become a better husband, a better wife, better friend. Just work on yourself. Right now in our business, we are working as hard as we ever worked in our lives. And I'm not talking about grunt work, labor work. We're digging holes. We're learning to work efficiently and effectively, using our mind to think of new ways to solve old problems. We're not just doing, because you probably know, and you probably know someone, that you can work really hard at something and be broke. Wow, nothing worse than that. Working really hard all day, not making no money, not making no progress. So I needed to work harder on myself and on my mindset to be able to go, what are some things that I can do to use leverage to make more money? And for us, it's been volume selling, and we didn't take, it took 4 years to learn that. Y'all, it wasn't born with it. It didn't happen right away. It just took looking at our business, what it was producing, how much time was I spending. I'm not spending much more time than what I was doing in my eBay business. It's just I'm doing different things. I'm doing, live selling. We're sourcing differently. We're bringing in different product. But overall, as far as the same amount of time, eBay usually was 6 hours or so a day, 4-6 hours a day. At the peak, maybe 8 hours a day. Right now, Whatnot, it's about 6 to 8 hours a day, sometimes 10 if we do a couple extra shows in a day. But the income drastically has changed. So throughout this process of building our small family business, we always had the hunger to get better and not get stuck or too comfortable. We had always been looking for ways to improve, whether in making better eBay listings or looking for new ways to find better inventory. I guarantee you, if you focus on looking for new ways to find better inventory, you are going to make a lot of money. This is the key when you are a reseller. You always want to look for new inventory, better ways to get inventory, and just think differently on how that looks. Going to the thrift store is a good start, but it's not the only way to do it. So I just say, learn what the other big companies are doing. How do they get inventory? And go from there. So that was key. It goes back to that parable in the Bible. A dull axe will take years to chop down a tree, but a sharpened axe will go much quicker, right? So sharpening the axe was me just becoming a better person, reading, learning from other entrepreneurs, learning from other content on how to market, how to do inbound, outbound, and all that was key, and it was just a process that took several years. It may take you much sooner, which is the whole goal of this video, is that after you watch it, you'll just become a better reseller, become a better business owner, become a better father, husband, wife, whatever. Just become better, and do not stop learning. Do not be resistant to learning. Do not get comfortable. If you want to change the world, you can't be complacent and comfortable and not doing nothing. I believe everyone has the capacity to change the world, and you do have untapped potential, but you got to actually put in the work on working on yourself is the key. For my first 25 years of life, I never did this. And then I started to have a family, and then I go, you know what? They deserve the best version of me. I need to become a better person. And I found that I became a better business owner. So last few things we looked at to study the global market of e-commerce, looking at it from like a bigger point of view on where it's going. So we focused on what we wanted to target for the future of our business. That was live selling. China's live selling e-commerce market cap was $1.1 trillion United States dollars in 2024. So $1.1 trillion live selling in China. That is a good indicator of what's to come in America, because we are still not quite there yet, right? So this is something we learned just last year, and that's why we really made the decision to put a lot of our efforts into doing live selling. We are finally at a point to hire our first person, an employee, to process and ship our orders. This will be the full-time position, but will allow us to focus on buying back our time to build other businesses. So that is the key. And that is where we're at right now. Wanted to give you guys a glimpse of our business, where we're at, what we've gone through, the ups and downs. Is everything perfect? No, it never will be. But I just say keep working on yourself, keep learning new things. Comment down below maybe anything that you've learned. What are things that you're working on in your business? I'd love to hear it. If you are getting into reselling right now and you're doing pre-owned clothing, the market is supposed to grow and grow year over year. And if you're building your business today and you're just getting started, think about how your business will look 5 years from now, and think about how many people will quit in the process. So stay diligent, keep working on yourself, be persistent, and just know that it's a process. You're not going to be perfect. You're going to fail. You're going to make mistakes. But as long as you keep getting better and serving other people in your business and your customers, things are going to be looking up for you. I hope you all have a blessed rest of the day, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.